Is Social Security going bankrupt? Well, here to talk with me about that is Marcia Mantell from Mantell Retirement Consulting. Marcia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Bob. You know, this is my favorite topic.
Pleasure to have you here, and it will be a pleasure to have you walk us through this common belief that Social Security is going bankrupt. And you, of course, think that's not even a real possibility. So take it away.
It, thanks so much. And no, it really is not a possibility. This phrasing of Social Security is going bankrupt is really just shorthand, right? It's shorthand meaning Social Security has a problem, and hey, Congress, you need to address this because it's a big law. But that's not how real people interpret bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a really bad thing. You know, if you're going bankrupt, you are in massive debt. You cannot service your debt, and you're going to ruin your credit rating forever. You know, so it has such bad and negative connotations. But that's really not what is going to happen at all with Social Security. And interestingly, I was on the call with Stephen Goss, the head actuary at Social Security. And I'll tell you from Social Security's viewpoint, you know, kind of not putting words in his mouth, but listening to what he had to say, the program is not going to be insolvent and the program is not going bankrupt. So we need to start there and not scare people so much.
So you, in an article that you wrote for Retirement Daily, you talk about the trust fund having well, maybe start here. Talk about what is happening. If it's not going bankrupt, what is happening?
Yeah, I think that's actually the key and kernel piece that we need to understand. And what happens with the Social Security Trust Fund, we also misuse that term in much of the articles out there. The trust fund is, think of it as just a gigantic checking account, right? Money flows in every day from FICA taxes. The employers all have to pay, you know, our share of FICA payroll taxes and the employer's share. So all this money is going into this big account, and then immediately money is being paid out the second, third, and fourth Wednesdays of the month to my dad and all the retirees out there who are getting benefits. So it's an inflow, outflow situation. And for many years, we were able to have a surplus at the end of the inflows and outflows. When you balance your checkbook at the end of the month, you know, you hope you have some extra. Well, that goes into what's called the asset reserve account or the savings account. So you've got a big checking account, a little sidecar savings account. The money will continue to flow in and flow out for the next foreseeable forever, so long as we have workers. But the problem is this little sidecar savings account. That is being used today and will continue to be used for the next 10 years to pay our beneficiaries, our retirees, 100% of the benefits that they earned. And it's going to draw down to zero. And it's at that point when the Social Security Trust Fund, money in, money out, is going to be insufficient to meet 100% of the obligation. But there's still payments that are going to occur. You know, Congress needs to do something. I know they're a little busy right now with the debt ceiling.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not going to be today. But that's really what has to happen. Congress knows this is a problem. They will get to it.
Right. And assuming that it doesn't happen, the projections in the trustees report is that it would pay out less than 100% at that time in 2033.
2033. Yeah, that's exactly right. So there is a clock on this. But what I find most interesting, Bob, is this is not the first time that we're dealing with this. You know, we can go back to 1982. The headlines were identical. Okay, Social Security obviously did not go bankrupt because since 1982, all the way till today and then next to forever, you know, benefits have been paid out. But that reserve account, the savings account, did get tapped and it was running down to zero. 1982, when we had the big amendments, the big changes to Social Security, what year was that? 1983. So what we expect, those of us who track this really carefully and then listening to the actuaries at Social Security, we believe the same general approach is going to happen. That Congress is going to wait all the way until 2033 and then go, oh, shoot, we actually need to deal with this now. Because, you know, the guys who are in office right
Right.
now may or may not be there 10 years from now. And politics, you know, it doesn't
Yeah.
work like what normal people would do over, you know, running a household checkbook. So we just have to be patient, understand the game that's being played, understand that Social Security will get addressed. The problem, I think, you know, for both you and me, we both have millennial kids. And I think our concern is that our millennial kids are going to get hit, you know, kind of hard with some increased payroll taxes. And, you know, you can feel for that situation, that that's not really necessarily fair. On the other hand, we all have been paying in for 40 years now
Right.
or longer, and we have earned our benefits. So something's got to give. I think that the people who surround Congress, those who influence the Congress people and the representatives and
Yeah.
senators, there are really good ideas out there. So I don't think we need to get overly concerned about anything being broken here.
Yeah. So when I think about the solutions, and just broadly speaking, people often talk about them and either increase taxes, reduce benefits, or a combination thereof, and that those changes would most likely affect the young that you just mentioned, and possibly the highest income earners. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I agree. That's where the conversation is. I'd like to see something more creative, though. Before we start taxing our kids more, or I'll just say in an unfriendly way, cheating us out of benefits, I think we could address more in more creative ways, and people smarter than me might have an approach to take. But I did see one article recently that kind of knocked me back. It's like, oh, now I can't remember who wrote it, so sorry I can't give credit, but someone wrote an opinion about before we start monkeying around much with Social Security, why don't we look at, you know, we tax income in America. We have income tax, you know, laws. We also have assets, though. And assets are not tapped. And I mean 401ks and 403bs. So people are sitting on millions of dollars in their 401ks and 403bs, growing over 40 and 50 years. And there's no taxation on that. And this idea was worthy of a discussion. I don't know that it would go anywhere, but it's that level of creativity that needs to come out from our industry, from those who are in the Social Security, you know, ecosystem, and others who think about this from a policy perspective. And, you know, heck, we got 10 years to do it.
All right. So, bottom line, Social Security is not going bankrupt, and a solution is on the horizon, but it's a decade away.
There we go. So sit back, enjoy the summer, and, you know, don't worry. Don't make bad decisions, though. That's the key. We still want you to have a comprehensive retirement income plan and claim Social Security when it works best for you for your old age.
Marsha, as always, pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Bob.